So you want to be Mo Xuan. So you want to do more punches and more kicks than any other class in the game. Then you've come to the right class. So this class actually has a best in slot Legion and Link skill, because the Link skill gives boss damage, and the Legion gives crit damage. There you go. So definitely want to level this class at least to 200, maybe even 250. But very, very good as a Link and Legion. In the beginner tab, we have Return to the School, which is where you start out. You get this after completing most of the story. I'm not going to pronounce most of these skills, by the way, sorry. But this skill will increase your final damage and crit damage. The way that you max it out is by completing Mo Xuan's story. Hero's Echo is pretty much the same as every other class. You just get 4% attack and magic attack for everyone in the, like, pretty much on your screen. Kind of. And I already went over the Link skill. Again, I guess I'll go in more detail. Gives you 4% boss damage, and then as you're attacking the boss, you get 2% extra boss damage. And this stacks up to 6 times. So think the arc skill, but instead of regular damage, it's boss damage. And I believe that is it for the beginner tab. These are just event skills. Alright, so in the beginner, oh goodness. In first job, you get your punch skill. However, it's actually this. This is the one. You'll put this on your keyboard, but you'll level this to make this do more damage. Anyway, you get your punch skill. Just does damage. You get your first divine skill. Divine skills are blue skills. The punch and kick skill, I'm just going to call gray skills. But for future reference, if I say blue skill, usually I'm referring to the divine skill. Divine art. And this is just like a... Here's the regular punch. Usually you only have one animation, but because I'm fourth job, I have 2 animations for my punch. And then for the divine skill, that's what it looks like. I'll explain why this is glowing and like what this gauge is later on. And then we have your flash jump, air weaving, and you can only do it once. Goes pretty far. It's not like crazy far, but it's good. You also get a vertical jump, which does not go as high as you would think. Let me go into this map real quick. So it doesn't go that high, but you do get dashes and other things later on that can help your mobility. And then we have Awaken, which is just a passive, really good passive, and then another passive. So first job mobbing, you're basically just going to be jumping around doing this. You're just going to go around punching things. You can use the divine skill if you want, but you definitely don't have to. It does have more range technically and does more damage, but again, you don't have to. You can just spam this, because the attack speed in this class is so fast. Oh, actually, let me show you on an actual mob. You know, it's funny that I said give me a second when I could just edit all of my travels out. I just don't want to show the town because, you know, some things happen in the story that I don't want to spoil. But, the punch skill actually has more range than it looks like it does. So I'm actually standing here, but it does a horizontal line. It has enough vertical range to hit up here. So here you go. As you can see, the range on it is crazy. Now, of course, yeah, that makes mobbing incredible. But that's pretty much what I wanted to show for first job. Divine Art, just a punch upwards. It's, yeah, just a stronger punch. Alright, so we can move on to second job then. I'll also show second job in this map. So in second job, you get a kick. This is also, you know, gray skill. Oops, you didn't see that. Also like a gray skill. And of course, same thing with the punch. You level this up to make this stronger. Or it's the same thing, but yeah. You also get your second divine skill. Or second blue skill, which looks like this. Oh, here's what the kicks look like, by the way. You may notice that I have 2 different animations. It's because I'm fourth job, and fourth job gives you 2 animations, while until, like, before fourth job, you only have 1 animation. Alright, so that's that. And then you also get just attack speed. You don't have to use it. This class has no buffs that you really have to use. I'll explain some momentary buffs, but no, like, you don't have to recast anything, like, whatever. You'll see what I mean. This is just passive. All of these are passive except for the last skill. I'll just hover over them so you can see what they do. Yeah. And then this is a dash. You get a charge every 4 seconds, and you get 5 charges total. You can dash in 6 different directions. If you go up, you can only go diagonal up. Of course, in 2 different directions. Same thing for down, you can only diagonal down. And then you can also go left and right, straight horizontal. Oh, I should also mention, it has a slight delay at the end of it. As you can see, before I can start walking, there's like a slight delay. If you do a punch or a kick, it cancels, it like shortens that. So there's the delay again. But if I do this, you can see it's a lot shorter. Now, I haven't really used that to my advantage yet, but I'm sure someone out there is gonna main this class and figure that out. Actually, it says use consecutively with precise control and timing. I want to test that. Let's see. Oh, maybe that's what they mean. I don't know. Maybe a main can explain that, but let me try one more time. So if I do it just holding it, you can do it that fast. But if you cancel it with a punch or a kick... Oh, it does go faster. Anyway. Why am I leaving that in the video? So yeah, that's second job. Second job mobbing. So this is pretty much going to be your mobbing throughout your whole journey as a Mo Xuan. You're just going to be kicking things. Kick is superior to punch. Has more range. Just overall is better. Once we get into the more of the divine kick skills, you'll also notice that they do more % damage overall compared to the punch skills, which will also come in handy to know later on when I explain the combo system, or the gauge. Yeah, that's the mobbing there. Then moving to third job. Let's go to my actual grinding map. Actually, first let me explain the skills so we have this music. So in third job, we have the Holy Mountain, and this pretty much gives you the gauge, and tries to explain like the gauge and stuff. So you see the word form link. You probably noticed that the word form link was also on divine skills. Form link basically means when the skill eats a diamond. And I'll explain the gauge here. Not all the gauge, I'll explain the full gauge later on, but it's just a short, what do you call it, introduction to it. When you use a punch skill or a kick skill, you can see that there's a diamond in the UI right here. So there's the punch one, there's the kick one. Okay, makes sense. When a divine skill eats that diamond, it will gain the form link final damage. So let's say I use this skill. So you can see it's linked with the punch. So if I do a punch, it'll glow in the UI down here. And if I use it while it's glowing, it'll eat that diamond. So go ahead and use it. The diamond is gone. The skill that came out had 50% final damage. And then same thing goes for the kick skill. If I do a kick and then I use this, now the blue skill had the final damage. And then Divine Fist is just a passive that you get for eating a diamond. That's pretty much how I say it. Like, eating a diamond just means it takes the diamond, like while the diamond is active. You gain a stack of this, which just gives you final damage. In third job, it only stacks up to 3 times, but in fourth job, it stacks up to 5 times. Also, the stacks don't go away all at once. It actually goes down like periodically. So in third job, it goes down every 45 seconds. In fourth job, it's every 60 seconds. But basically, if you don't eat a diamond within 40 seconds, it'll go 45 seconds, it'll go down, or 60 seconds in fourth job. So yeah, that's pretty much a very short introduction to the gauge system. Again, I'll explain much more in detail later on. But yeah, let's move on. Righteous Thunder is your second Divine Punch skill. So you do a punch, and then you do it, and you can see that the form link gives it 100% extra final damage. When you use it on an enemy, the enemy is stunned for, I believe it was 3 seconds. And this ignores, is that the right word? It can be used with other binds, like it doesn't have the same bind timer as like a 10-second bind or origin bind. It's a completely separate timer, kind of like the zero skill. basically you just use it and you stun the enemy for 3 seconds. However, the enemy cannot be stunned continuously. It's like it has a 45-second cooldown before you can stun them again. And then we have your Divine Kick skill, which can be used twice in a row. 1, 2. And yeah, it just does damage. If you eat a diamond... Oh, I guess I should mention that. You don't have to use a punch or kick skill to use divine skills. It just gives them that extra final damage for the form link. That's called a form link when it gets the final damage. So I'll just use it here without... Why am I explaining the combo system? I said I was going to explain it later. But yeah, you can see I could just use it. Alright. Chi protection. This is just... Or, sorry, projection. How do I explain it? It's like shadow clones attack around the map as long as you're near enemies. I believe this may get nerfed in the future to only apply when you actually attack something. But for now, as long as you have it on and you're near enemies, they'll just automatically get attacked. And I'll show you what that looks like. For some reason in this map, it doesn't actually have an animation. Maybe it's because they're dying in one hit, I'm not sure. Oh, there you go. There's an animation there. But I'll show you later on, it has an animation. It's like gray slashes. But yeah, as long as that's on, enemies will get attacked around you. So yeah, that's a toggle. And then this skill makes it so that the first and second job divine skill gets increased damage. This is a backstep, has a cooldown of 6 seconds though, and it does not snap to platforms. It's just a backdash to get out of danger. And then we have a passive and another passive. Both of them are very good. Alright, so let's show some third job mobbing. And for those that didn't know, you could use Maple Guide to teleport around. There you go. So the mobbing, like I said, is just kicking. You're going to be kicking a lot of mobs. Not really much else to say about the mobbing. I mean, you're pretty much just kicking and then using a form link if you want to maintain your buff up there. But again, you only have to do it like every 60 seconds in fourth job. Alright, I think that's enough. I don't really have to go over the mobbing too much because you're going to be seeing it a lot in, whatchamacallit, fourth and fifth job. Where should I show fourth job, though? Alright, so in fourth job, you get Heir of the Divine, which is just it's basically a better Holy Mountain. But it also gives you an extra, so it gives you more final damage when you get this, as well as you can increase the stacks up to 5 times now. But where it says Reincarnation, this is basically the combo system, which again, I said I was going to go over later on. I could explain it now. Should I explain it now? Basically, when you use a punch skill, like when you use a divine punch skill, you can see that there's a glow on the UI. And I really should explain this later. So when you use a divine skill, you can see there's a glow on the UI. This glow lasts for 4 seconds, even though the in-game says like 3 seconds. And while the UI is glowing, depending on the second blue skill that you use, it'll have a certain effect. So if I do a blue punch skill into another blue punch skill, the second blue punch skill will have a cooldown reduction. However, if I do a blue punch skill into a blue kick skill, the kick skill will have a final damage increase. And the way they explain this is if two divine skills align around the same, like, no, that's not how to explain it. So if two divine skills come from the same thing, like a punch or a kick, the cooldown would be reduced. But if it's opposite, let's say you do a punch skill first, then a kick skill, or a kick skill first, then a punch skill, the second blue skill that you used will have its final damage increase. That's like, I guess, the simplest way to put it. For instance, I'll do the third job punch skill. and then the third job kick skill. The kick skill will have a final damage increase. Versus if I do, let's say a punch skill first, like the first job blue punch skill into the, actually no, let me reduce the cooldown instead. So right now you can see the cooldown is 15 seconds. If I do the blue kick skill, like any blue kick skill into another blue kick skill, so I'm going to reduce this one's cooldown. So this kick skill into this one, you can see now it's only, well, technically 10 seconds, but yeah, it reduced the cooldown by a certain amount. I'll show it with the punch one because it's more obvious that it's reducing the cooldown. So this is normally 45 seconds, but if I do a punch skill first and then another punch skill, the second punch skill will have its cooldown reduced. So normally it would be 45, but there it was like 30 or 29 or something. And if you do the opposite, which is a punch skill into a kick skill, then the kick skill will have its final damage increased. So it's always going to be the second skill, or the skill that you activate while the UI is glowing. So once again, if I do, and you can always tell that it works properly when the glow goes away and it like does a special animation. So let's say I do this and now it's glowing, and then I press the second punch skill, the punch skill will have its cooldown reduced. Or I do a punch skill, then I do a kick skill afterwards. The kick skill won't have its cooldown reduced, but it'll be increased final damage. Okay, that makes sense? Cool. Now you can increase the final damage even further by doing the form link, which I've already gone over before, is the like eating a diamond. So if I want the first punch skill to have final damage increase, I would make it eat a diamond, and then the second skill, I would you know, do a kick and then increase the final damage by eating the diamond, plus being the second skill used in the combo. There I didn't do it because I didn't press it in time for the glow, but yeah. I said I was going to explain the combo system later, but here I am doing it now. Anyway, I'm going to just one more time. I'll explain it later with the... I'll even have like a dojo dummy, so you can see the actual damage difference. But I'm going to increase the first punch, divine punch skill, the first blue punch skill, final damage by eating a diamond. And then I'm going to increase the final damage of the... what do you call it? The blue kick skill, because it came out second while the UI was glowing, as well as eating a diamond. So, the kick skill actually got... No, I said I was going to explain this later. Oh my god. Okay, no, later. Go later in the video. Go click the timestamp. I mean, I've already explained it all, but like, I'll... Anyway. So yeah, this gives you the second part of both punches and kicks. So this one's the punch, this one's the kick. So now we have two animations for them. And then this one, now you can kick down, or yeah, it's just an extra animation. Plus it adds a second diamond. I'll get into that later. Well, I could get into it now actually because of this skill. But I won't, because I'm going to go over this, which just increases the damage of your previous divine skills. Now I'll go into this. So this one requires 2 punches in order for it to get the form link, which is 100% final damage. So one punch gives 1 diamond, second punch gives 2, and then now it's 100% final damage because I form linked it. You can hold it down for 5 seconds, does rapid punches, and then what do you call it? And yeah, it just does a lot of damage. It also has a cooldown of 60 seconds. This is your bind skill. Of course I can't bind these enemies because they'll die in one hit, but there's the animation. Divine Fist Disciples. This gives Mo Xuan passive crit damage of 5%. However, if you use it to your party members, they get 8% crit damage. Did I say final damage? I meant to say crit damage if I said final. But yeah, it gives crit damage. However, it does not give Mo Xuan crit damage except passively. So Mo Xuan gets 5%, the party members get 8. However, you can make it 10% if you have max stacks of this buff up here. And again, to get those stacks, you just eat a diamond. By the way, it has a cooldown of 3 minutes, lasts for 30 seconds. Oh, and here's the animation if you don't know what it looks like. Bam! Again, it does not work on Mo Xuan who casts it, or Mo Xuan in general. It's just passive crit damage for the Mo Xuan. This shield, the Chi Shield, the first instance of damage that you take will be negated. You take no damage on the first instance of damage, but then every time that you take damage afterwards, you'll take reduced damage. So basically, it's a shield that gets weaker and weaker every time you get hit. It does last for a pretty long time though, 20 seconds. But yeah, it's a very good shield. Reduces all types of damage. Again, the first hit to the shield reduces all damage. The second hit, I think you only take like 10% of the damage, so it reduces the damage by 90%. It's really good, and then the more you get hit, the less it protects you against. Very good. Maple Warrior, it's Maple Warrior. It's passive now, so you don't have to worry about casting it, which is what I mentioned before, where this class has no buffs that you actually want to cast on yourself, except for like the burst skills. But yeah, Maple Warrior is passive. You only want to use it if you want to see the animation. Hero's Will protects you from an abnormal status for 3 seconds and also removes certain abnormal statuses that are currently on your character. Aura increases your boss damage, ignore enemy defense, and knockback resist. Boundless increases your mastery, attack, and ignore enemy defense. And that's it for 4th job. Again, the mobbing is the same. You're just going to be kicking things, just jump around kicking things. Same thing. Nothing really changes there. Your hypers. Let's go over the hyper passives first. So you want to increase your punch and kick damage and boss damage. You also want to increase your divine arts or divine skills damage. And then this one makes it so that the final damage that you get for the second skill goes up. And then if you do the same alignment like I mentioned before, it also makes the cooldown reduce even further. Yeah, you want this. And then for Chi Shield, it just makes it more efficient. It like makes it better. So it reduces even more damage. Alright, so now let's go to active skills. Black Wind has broken my ears so many times. This skill is so loud. It also has incredible range. But I'm just warning you now. I'm going to use it. It's going to be loud. I'll try to lower it with, you know, editing, but I'll probably forget. It has incredible range, though. Here you go. I'm going to use it in 3, 2, 1. All right, perfect. Hopefully I lowered that volume. But yeah, it just does damage. You're also invincible for 2 seconds when you use it. And then we also have Strength Within. This just gives you the max stacks of this buff up here. So I'm going to go ahead and use it now. And there you go. Now I have max stacks. So a nice combo if you're in a party and you notice that you don't have max stacks. You'll always have max stacks if you're bossing. But, or if you're bossing properly. But yeah, you could just use that into the crit damage buff to help your party members burst. And then the last skill just increases your damage by 10%, which also works on Lin, or any other classes that may come in the future that are from this area. From the area that... Yeah. I don't know how to pronounce that. So yeah, again, I'm not really going to go over the mobbing, because I already did, which is just kicking, and then you can use this now. So let's move to 5th job. Yay! And you know exactly where I'm going for... You know what? Let's go somewhere else for 5th job. I lied. I don't want to go to Choo Choo. Alright, let's just go to a Vanishing Journey, like usual. Alright, so in 5th job, you get Crashing Earth. And this is, finally, you get a double diamond blue skill for kicks. Because before you only had the punch one, which is this right here. Now you have one for kicks. And this is just a massive AoE. The Form Link, of course, gives it extra 100% final damage. Form Link, just in case you skip to the end. Again, is when you eat up the diamonds. And you can tell what skill is going to eat the diamond by it having like that glow around it. But anywho. So yeah, that's that. It is very strong. It is currently bugged though. Oh, okay, when I talk about combos, I'll explain the bug. So don't worry about what I just said. Ignore that. Alright, so moving on to the next 5th job skills. We have Beneath Heaven. This skill has a 3-minute cooldown, but it is an incredible burst. And it hits your whole screen. It leaves you invincible for 4 seconds, and it does crazy damage. So here's what it looks like. There you go. Next we have the opened gate, which is like such a strong buff. So for 30 seconds, you have 100% crit rate, your crit damage goes up, all of your skills do 250% extra damage, and they do 1 extra line of damage. That is crazy. Not only that, but it also changes the music in the area. So I'll go ahead and use it now. Beautiful music. Love the animation too. But yeah, now all of your skills are buffed, you're buffed, it's crazy strong. So now moving on, we have the Conquered Self. Oh, here comes somebody. Oh, no, and they... Oh, no, no, no. They don't know that I'm recording. But this... You remember the toggle skill that does slashes in the map? So basically, those gray slashes become blue slashes and attack way more frequently. So these slashes right here. So now if I use the Conquered Self, now they'll become blue, do more damage, attack more frequently, and yeah, it's just really good for burst. And mobbing, of course, but yeah, if you do it on a boss, it like targets the boss because that's the only thing available to hit. But yeah, very strong. And those are the 5th job skills. Now to talk about the boost nodes. So for boost nodes, you want your 1 cost divine skills, and then for your other one, you want kick skill. Oh, let me take this off so it doesn't make any noise. So you want your kick skill. You also want the slashes that happened around you, the toggle, and the hyper skill, the black wind. And then for your last one, you want the punch skill, the single punch skill, divine skill, and then the double punch skill. I should just read the names out, huh? But yeah, these are the skills that you want. All right. For the common skills, you have dice, which if you activate 5, it gives you extra damage. Oh, and let me explain this because a lot of people have trouble with this. So loaded dice is the skill that you press to choose the dice that you want. Once you press it once, this shows up, and then on your keyboard, just press a number. For if you want to do damage, you press 5. If you want extra EXP, you press 6. Oh, and then to actually use the dice, you have to use roll of the dice. So yes, you do need 2 spots on your keyboard, as you can see down here. So press this. If you're going to go grinding, press 6 so you get extra EXP. And then actually press the roll of the dice to actually roll the dice and get the 6. I know a lot of people are confused about that, so just wanted to make that clear. Your other, your other skill is Overdrive, which just increases your damage a ton based on the base attack of your weapon. And then there's this skill, which just choose the red one. The red one gives you damage. It's actually, since this class is a cooldown class, I wonder if you could choose... Well, I'll leave that up to the mains to decide, but I'm pretty sure you would choose the red one just for damage. Let me see, what else to go over? Oh, inner ability. For inner ability, you want cooldown skip, because this class has quite a lot of strong cooldown skills that are short cooldown, so you want to skip them. Oh, especially when it cooldown skips this. Ooh, 2 bursts in a row, that's crazy. Anything else? I guess I can show the mobbing. Maybe I'll skip the mobbing. Basically, you're just going around kicking things. You're just going around kicking things, and sometimes you'll use you know, one of the big skills. You just cycle the big skills. Wow, that had a short. that did not continue sound for a while. But you just use like the big skills basically. And then of course, you can activate this for the slashes to help you out. But yeah, you're just going to be jumping around kicking things. For the most part. Your mobbing combo for when they actually do fix this skill, because right now it can't be reduced. You can't reduce the cooldown unless you do something that you're not supposed to do. But the only way to reduce the cooldown of it right now is to use any 2 divine skills and then use it. So this and then that, and now I can do it with a reduced cooldown. But again, it's bugged. It's not supposed to work that way. So yeah, I guess now let's just explain the actual, like, the combo system. I know you've waited long enough for this. I could also separate this into another video. Because I know people look at the length of the video, they're like, oh my god, an hour-long video on Mo Xuan? No thanks. But I like to show everything that I can. Let's see, boss, unlimited health, doesn't really matter for anything else. Oh, actually, I want to move it over here. Okay. So, what I want to show is the damage increase for the skills. So right now I'm going to use the Divine Kick skill, which is this one over here. So Divine Kick. We can see that it did 39, 39 mil or whatever. You can look at all this damage here. I'm just going to look at the max damage, which is 39 mil. However, if it eats a diamond, it's going to gain 50% final damage. So let's go ahead and do that. So now the diamond is in here, and then I press the skill. And now the damage should go up to 60. So now it's 60 mil. Now, that's the form link damage that it gets. Now if I do a Divine Punch skill first, so that the UI is glowing, and then I do the skill that I just did, it's going to go up even further because I used a punch skill first, and then a kick skill. Alright, so here's the blue punch skill. And again, this is without me eating the diamond. I'm just going to use both without eating a diamond. So they're not going to get the form link extra damage. So this, and then the... Oh, I didn't turn on... Okay. I'll do it again here. Let me wait for this to go away. Oh, right, it's because I made it a boss. That's why this is activating. Alright, so now... So now you can see it did 64. And that's mainly because of the reincarnation buff. So the final damage actually got increased by 50% there. But I can increase it even further by making it eat a diamond. So now I'm going to use the blue punch, use a gray kick, which, it's just the regular kick. And then it'll eat the diamond to get increased damage. So in total, it'll have 50% final damage. So here we go. And then eat a diamond, plus be the second skill in the combo. So now it did 98. And then I'm going to reduce its cooldown now. So normally the cooldown is 8 seconds, but I'm going to reduce the cooldown rather than increase the final damage. I'm still going to increase the final damage by using eating up one of the diamonds. But now let's say I want to reduce the cooldown rather than give it more damage. So now I'm going to do pretty much any other kick skill, any other divine kick skill. Which is, we do this, diamond, and then that. Now the cooldown's going to be reduced. But not the final damage will only go up 50% because I ate a diamond. Is this all making sense? Alright. I guess now you're just thinking like, okay, so what's the boss damage combo? So the divine kick skills actually have higher percent damage than the divine punch. I actually don't know if that's true because of the passives. Let's see, erupting flame, tearing wind. Okay, so you know what? Maybe they have about the same damage. Let me actually find out. Let me see. So let's do this, into that, into this, into that. Actually, wait, that's gonna That's going to increase its damage. I should have done 2 kick skills, then 2 punch skills. Alright, I'll do that instead. Oh, now I just have to wait for the cooldowns. Alright, so this time none of the skills will be boosted by final damage. I'm just going to do, you know, reduce cooldown or whatever. So, yeah, there's going to be no final damage increases here. Actually, let me do this real quick, just so I have that. Alright, so here we go. Alright, so that was with, no final damage increases whatsoever, except for the passive, or the buff up here. So we can see that their damage was like this now. What was I going to show with this? Oh yeah, I just wanted to see the similarities between the damages. So the punch did a lot here. And, okay, so... yeah, they're actually pretty close in damage. It looks like this punch is strongest. And then the double kick is next. Oh, wait, maybe the punches actually do get stronger than the kicks. Kick skills. Oh, interesting. Well, anyway, right, so the boss combo is then just whatever skill you want to boost the damage of has to come second in the combo out of the divine skills. Or out of the blue skills. So let's say I want, whatchamacallit, this to do the most damage. The Howling Storm, the burst. So what I would do is I would do a divine kick skill first, and then do two regular punches, and then into that skill. Sorry, I'm so bad at explaining this. Like, I understand it, but like, okay. So I'm gonna boost the, here, let me take this off. I'm gonna boost the first divine kick skill by doing, you know, making it eat a diamond right here, like that. And you can see it's glowing, so it's gonna get the final damage increase. And then I'm gonna do 2 gray punches so that I can have the glow on this as well, and it's gonna get the 100% final damage. But because I'm also gonna be using it while the UI is glowing, it's also gonna get an extra final damage boost from it being the second skill used. So here we go. And that is the most damage that you can give it. So it did 175. Cool. Or for the max hit. Alright, so one more time I'm going to explain the combo, and then I think the video is done. So, using a gray skill adds a diamond to the UI. As you can see, I did a kick skill, added a diamond to the UI. Eventually it'll go away, I believe after like 4 seconds. And then punch does the same thing, adds a diamond to the UI. You also don't have to hit an enemy for it to put the diamond in the UI. What the diamonds mean is that it's preparing a form link. So when I do 1 kick, now any of these glowing skills down here will get extra final damage for using it while it's glowing. So do a kick. Now it's going to get the final damage for, you know, eating the diamond, as I like to say. When you use a divine skill, the UI glows. The glow indicates that one of 2 effects is ready to apply. Either it's going to increase final damage even further, or it's going to reduce the cooldown of the skill. So you can even do this without adding any diamonds. So I'm going to reduce the cooldown of this skill right here, which is normally... Actually, let's do this skill instead, because it has a longer cooldown. So this skill has a 45-second cooldown. If I want to reduce its cooldown, I have to use a punch divine skill before it. So I'm choosing to use this one. So, here you go. So, I use the first divine punch skill. And now I'm going to use the second, while the UI is glowing. And the cooldown got reduced because the UI was glowing, and then I used it while it was glowing. However, if I wanted to increase that skill's final damage, I would use the opposite, which is a kick skill. So I would do like a divine kick skill, which would be this, and then do a divine punch skill while the UI is glowing. And that'll increase its final damage. So I'll go ahead and show you what that is right here. And the cooldown won't be reduced because it can only have one of those effects. So Divine Kick, and then do a Divine Punch. And now the punch will do more damage, but not have a reduced cooldown. There is a bug right now with this skill, though. It does not actually work the same way as all the other skills, and I'll show you what I mean by that. So this normally needs 2 kicks in order to get the final damage from the form link. That works fine. That works fine. It's the glowing UI that is bugged for it right now. So I'll show you an example. Normally this skill has a 60-second cooldown, but I can reduce the cooldown by doing a punch skill first. So let's do this, and then this. So it got reduced down to 39 seconds, or 40 seconds really. So you can see the cooldown got reduced. Now let's do the same thing with a kick skill, with this skill, and it won't work. So you can see it's still, normally it's 60 seconds, but because of the Mercedes Legion effect, it got reduced down to 56. But anyway, it should have been down the same as this because they're the same, you know, cooldown. So currently it's bugged. The way to make it work to reduce the cooldown is to use 2 divine skills. Like any 2 divine skills. Literally any, doesn't matter if it's a punch or a kick. That's currently how it works. Don't know why. They'll fix it later. But yeah, that's pretty much what I wanted to explain. I feel like I explained the combo system well, right? Maybe? Basically, 2 blue punch skills mean the cooldown's reduced. 2 blue kick skills means the cooldown's reduced. Doing a punch and a kick mean that the second skill that's used while the UI is glowing will have a final damage increase. Whatever the one is used while the UI is glowing. So any divine skill will make it glow, but depending on the second one used, or the one that you use afterwards, gets a certain effect. So yeah, let me show you what I mean by now I can reduce this as cooldown by using any divine 2 divine skills. So I'm going to do this, that, and then this. And now the cooldown's reduced. It's not supposed to work that way. Especially because I used a punch and a kick, so it should have had an increase in final damage instead. And plus, it should have been the second skill. Like, the second skill should have used up the buff. Or the glow in the UI. So yeah, it's just bugged right now. Don't worry about it. If you're mobbing currently, just do, like, any 2 divine skills if you want to reduce this skill's cooldown. But it should only reduce the cooldown if the UI is glowing. And you used a kick skill beforehand. Oh, goodness. I'm gonna explain it one more time. Let's make this video an hour. Alright, so, when you use a divine skill, let's say I do a divine punch. This is a divine punch skill. While the UI is glowing, if I do another divine punch skill, because the first one was a punch, if the second one is also a punch, the second one will use up the glowing and reduce its cooldown. So, again, the skill normally has a 45-second cooldown. Or I'll even do the one that has a 60-second cooldown. So I'll use a divine punch skill, literally any divine punch skill, into another divine punch skill will reduce the cooldown of the second one. So I'll do this one into this one. And you can see the second one had its cooldown reduced. And then same thing for kick skills. Again, except for this one, which is bugged. I'm going to do this kick skill into this one, which is 15 seconds. And this is without me making them eat a diamond for the extra final damage. This is just me pressing the skills. So yeah, that's pretty much how to reduce the cooldown of skills. If you want to increase the final damage of skills, aside from eating the diamond, you have to do the opposite attack. So I have to do a divine punch into a divine kick, or a divine kick into a divine punch. Divine is just me talking about the blue skills. I've been talking about this for 15 minutes. But yeah, I just wanted to make sure that you guys knew how the combo system worked. So to explain all of it, like, to get the most damage out of a single skill, you would do, let's say I wanted to increase this skill's final damage the most, to the maximum that I can. So what I would do is probably a divine kick skill first, and then do this. However, what I would do is boost the divine kick skill with the regular basic like gray kick. And I call it a gray kick because the UI, or this is gray. So I would first boost this. You don't have to do this part. I just like doing it because I like all my skills to be boosted. So I would do like boost that by 50%. Then I would do 2 punches, and while the UI is glowing, because it's gonna get 100% extra final damage for having the 2 diamonds in here, but also because the UI is glowing and my previous skill was a kick skill, the punch will also be further increased in final damage. So here we go. So I would do this, 2 punches, and then this. And now it's doing the maximum amount of damage that it can. Does that make sense? Or if I wanted, you know, this skill to do the max damage that it can, although, again, it's bugged currently, so I can't really do that. Alright, so anyway. The bossing combo, there is one, but I don't really follow it, I just do whatever I want. But basically what you want to do is use whatever skill, and then when it's glowing, press it. Use whatever kick skill, then if it's glowing, press it. And then if you want to increase the... If you specifically want to boost a certain skill's damage, you want to do the opposite, whether it's a punch or kick first, and then do the one that you want to boost second. So my bossing combo, I'm going to do the one without the burst first, and then I'll do one with the burst. Is, let's see, I should probably do kick first, then punch. So my bossing combo would be like this, that, and then that would like boost both of those skills, mainly the punch skill. And then I would probably do, goodness, okay. I haven't actually bossed in this class yet, but it would be like this, that, this, and then, oops, I did a kick into that, so that didn't actually get the boost that I wanted. But yeah, it'd be something like that. So which skill was it? This skill didn't get the boost that I wanted. I instead reduced its cooldown. Or did I? No. It just didn't get the form link final damage, because I used a kick instead of a punch. But anyway, I wish I was better at bossing with this class. I mean, of course, you don't have to do the form link stuff. You don't have to do the, you know, using a certain skill first, so you use the second skill. That's just being optimal. But the way that I play classes, I definitely am not optimal. But basically this, that, then this. Yeah. Although if I do it now, it's gonna not do anything. But yeah. 15 minutes. I'm probably gonna put like some text on the screen like, hey, if you don't care about learning the combo, just skip. Like, the rest of this doesn't matter. But anyway, those of you who just like listening to me talk or something, hopefully you enjoyed the length of this video. This video could have been done in like 30 minutes, maybe less if I just wanted it to, but I wanted to get like all the information out. You know what? Maybe I'll get the graph. Maybe the graph will be easier for people to understand, like the picture. Or maybe not. Maybe my explanation was good enough. Maybe I'm underestimating myself. But yeah. Hopefully this video helps you out. Hope you enjoy Mo Xuan. And thanks for watching the video. Till next time. I should really go bossing, huh? It's like I want to get used to these boss combos. Like this, that. I don't know. Anyway, once you have cooldown skip and a cooldown hat, you'll be just probably won't even care about, you know, what order you're pressing skills in. Anyway, see ya. So I'm gonna try and do some kind of boss combo. So let's see. Something like that. Again, I don't main this class, but for the most part, you'll be like spamming this, like when everything's on cooldown. Otherwise, you'll do this. Most likely, like that's going to be your most common combo. It's just doing a Great Punch into Divine Punch, and then Great Kick into Divine Kick, or the opposite, where it's a Divine Kick into Divine, or sorry, Great Kick into Divine Kick, then Great Punch into Divine Punch. Whichever one you want to boost the damage of. Okay, one more thing. I want to show you all of the damage increases that you can do, but actually with like actually showing it. So I'll do short cooldown skills so that we don't have to wait for too long. So this is just me doing it without any final damage increase. As you can see, it did 69. Did I already show this? I don't remember if I did. So you can see it just did 69. Now if I do a Great Punch first, now it did 105. And now if I do Divine Kick and then do that, now it did 154. And I'm pretty sure, yeah, that's the max damage I can do on it. So yeah, just wanted to show that.